Hello guys. So basically, I'm starting my tutorial series. I'm starting with the basic fundamentals of boxing, and for this video, I'm going to be teaching the jab and the cross. I'm going to be working on stances, I'm going to be working on foundation, basic defense, evasion, footwork, all that. But right now, I'm just going to work on doing the first two punches that you're going to learn whenever you step into a boxing gym, an MMA gym, Muay Thai, whatever. This is the first ever combination you are going to learn, and it is going to be the bread and butter of every single exchange you're ever going to get into, whether or not you are left hand dominant or right hand dominant. You're always going to have a jab and you're going to have a cross. So for me, I'm right hand dominant, so I like to fix myself in an orthodox stance. So have your weight equally distributed. We're going to start with the jab. So I'm going to turn sideways like this. What you want to always do when you first start out is always keep your hands up. You don't got to have them up here, and you don't got to have them right here all the time. But what you want to do is make sure that through your relaxed flow, you keep your hands at chin level. Chin level. Because even if you have your hands right here, what is that defending? You need to keep your hands at chin level. So basically what we're going to start is the basic jab. It is a probe, it is a defensive tool, and it is a way to create questions. I've heard this from somebody that I watch, and one of these days I hope to meet this person, but basically the jab is called a question. And what it means is you are giving your opponent something to think about. So what we do is you don't got to add much power. You just throw it right from where you are. If you want to get distance, you can go forward. If you want to evade, you can go back. But the philosophy is this is not a punch you use to knock people out. It has the potential to do that, but that's the thing about fighting. Anything can happen, so you can't fixate on absolutes. You can only think about what you can do in a moment, because nothing is absolute. So we're gonna throw this jab again. Jab, jab, jab. You can even change your levels and then jab. You can angle, jab. You get inside, jab. All of that. So what we're gonna keep doing is we're gonna make sure we maintain the rhythm of our body. Each time we throw a punch, we get back in our stance. You pull the punch back. You don't wanna drop your hand. You don't wanna jab and drop your hand, because what does that do? Leave you exposed. Even if your hand's still up, the whole left side of your face is open. And even if we're on the right side, let's say I'm in a southpaw stance, still you never wanna drop that hand. You always wanna return it back to the sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. You can even jab to the body. So I'm moving a bit off frame, but what I was trying to demonstrate is that you can mix from high, low, medium, high, low, medium. And the medium is actually something that people don't really do a lot. You can jab somebody in the chest. Doesn't matter if it hurts or not. It momentarily stuns them for about maybe half a second, gives you time to land your cross. So this entire video is basically about how to throw the jab cross. And it doesn't matter where you jab. Doesn't matter where you throw the cross. It is a rhythm. It is AB. 1, 2, 1, 2. AB. AB. 1, 2, 1, 2. You get from A to B, and you land the 1 and the 2. So a lot of people train southpaw, even if they're right-handed forward. And I guess nowadays it's not really something you can really knock people for. It doesn't matter which hand you're dominant with, it's about what you're comfortable with. But at the end of the day, it is good to practice your moves in both stances, even if you fight in one stance. That's really how it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to establish the jab. You want to extend it as far as you can, because if you know to keep your opponent at the end of the range, and once you feel as though you're touching them with this lead hand, that means you are in range to be able to land that rear dominant power. Because you don't want to just throw it and miss. You want to be able to check. That's that question. It's like, can I land? And then you can. So we're going to do it like this. You jab. You see how my hips are going forward. So when you get to that cross, now we're going to simulate the cross real quick before you even get into the jab. So basically, when you're throwing that dominant power, you want to get from A to B. So you can throw it like this, but nobody's going to stand in front of you. Nobody's going to just let you throw a punch. So what you want to do is you want to step forward. You want to lower your base just a little bit, bend the knees. And when you get to the punch phase, you want to rotate off your hips. A lot of coaches, they teach you to do that. But I used to do that when I first started out, but I realized that it's a little bit quicker to just explode and then plant your feet, kind of like a running step, like a sprint. So what I do is I go from A to B and I pull my hand back. So you want to even when you pull back, one of the most popular moves at the moment is the pullback counter. Even though it's been widely used by almost everybody that fights competitively, but it's only, being brought up nowadays because of certain individuals who were, well known for doing it. So to do this jab cross, you want to put everything in one motion. You jab, cross. And then if you want to practice it yourself, don't worry about doing it fast. Especially if you're new, you want to practice each movement slow. You want to be able to get your body's mechanics in tune to be able to do it loose and fluid and relaxed. So it might be a little awkward for you to do at first. So what you want to do is just go slow. And make sure your hands always go back to your guard after. So you see how after I jab, I pull it back and it's defending my vessel right here. And I personally like to block with my forearm, but when you got gloves on, it's not really really doesn't matter. Kind of, it's in between. But we're not worried about them absolutes. We're worried about just getting the simple fundamentals down. So what you want to do is one motion, and your feet can create the rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you see I'm adding a defensive roll because whenever you throw that dominant power, you're using a lot of weight that you're shifting forward, and it's going to leave you exposed. And it's going to be harder to pull back after you already threw that. So what you want to do is defensively roll under the punch. Because most time when you hit somebody, they might want to throw like a little counter hook, or maybe even an uppercut, or a cross of their own, tick for tack. But what you want to do is, after you throw that cross, you slip right under. Just slip right under whatever punch they throw, because as soon as you ingrain that into your muscle memory, you won't have to worry about reaction time or experience. Experience comes from muscle memory. It's not about how long you do it, it's about how much you practice it. So even when you're sitting here shadow boxing and you're not thinking about, oh yeah, somebody's gonna hit me back, you need to think about, well, there is a potential chance somebody is slick and they might weave the punch. It might come back with a counter. So you want to roll under it. You always want to be 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead. How many ever steps ahead you want to fucking be, you need to be ahead of that motherfucker. That's all you need to worry about. So every time you do anything offensive, you always have to end it with something defensive. Even if it's a pivot, even if it's a shift, like something like that, you need to get out the way. There always needs to be an exit plan. This is my first ever tutorial. Probably unorganized, but it's better than just staying in the crib and not doing shit. So I put this joint out here. I wanted y'all to learn. All right, subscribe, like, do whatever y'all need to do. Hopefully I'm entertaining. Hopefully I got the message through. See you later.